couple bathrooms in here.
Grab those bags and take them back up to the truck.
Well, so are we gonna come back a different day, or are we gonna call someone else out? Because that's 3 bags and just 2 guys. Today? Yo, what's up, man? Fresh, first day on the job. What's poppin'? Just passed that Bond Light Stockton.
Nice to meet you. Are those the only shoes you brought?
Yo, you like them? Y'all don't got AC?
Not out here.
That's sus, bro. What's up, baby? What's it do? Man, it's gonna be me and you out there in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Slanging and banging. You and me all day, every day. What?
Fresh air.
Bussin', bro. Man, what y'all got up in the fridge, dude? Oh, apple juice! You should get me on there, man, with a fit check. With the flat cap bill, rocking them Jordan 4s, right? With the Home Hero shirt. I've gone to shops where literally guys have pulled me aside and be like, man, I love all this stuff you're teaching, but if I do this, I'll be out till midnight. They're just gonna give me more calls. And it's heartbreaking. It's like, man, what's the real goal here? Like, if I've got 12 tables in a restaurant and I can serve those 12 people and give them the best experience ever and I can be profitable, if I wanna make more money, I'm gonna add a 13th table. I'm not gonna add a 13th customer. Meaning I'm gonna increase my capacity. I'm not just gonna shove more people into my capacity. My room fits 56 people and I wanna sell more tickets to my event. I either have to increase the capacity or hold separate events. I can't put 115 people into a room of 57 people.
They want a tankless and a softener installed. They don't have either, and they've already been approved for financing.
What's that got to do? So you want me to go out there and do that call?
Well, they also say they've been having trouble with their sewer line and been wanting to replace it for a while, but they can't find somebody who they like to do it, but they think they trust us.
I don't want to have to work super hard to get it though. You want me to repipe the house, put it in a new tankless, softener. Did you say something about a sewer line?
That's what it looks like. I think we should go check it out, man.
No, bro, this is ridiculous. And is this commission?
Yeah, I already talked to the owner about it. He wants to actually double your commission on it because it's such a big job.
So you want me to go out there, you want me to run this call, it's a bunch of work and a bunch of money or whatever, but it's also a bunch of taxes, and you're gonna have people out there helping me, watch me, do what I do, and then you want me to get it done faster so I make even more money, and then I have to, take another call because now I'm done by Thursday or something?
What else are you gonna be doing instead here, Steve? This is the job, man.
You got any odor smells or anything like that on there? Like maybe like in a different, maybe just... Why does on-call suck? Well, look, here's the thing. Most companies that do on-call 24/7 after hours, they don't treat it the same way they do during normal hours. They have a full staff and they have a full support system if someone calls between 8 and 5. But then after hours, they don't have a CSR, they don't have a supply staff, they don't have a lot of other things, and they want to go out and charge the same rates to the customer, if not even more, because they're doing after hours work. If you want to charge more and do on-call, then provide more service after hours. If you can't provide at least the same service that you provide during the day after hours, then you shouldn't do it. Think of it like an emergency room. Not every doctor is open after hours, but emergency rooms have a full staff after hours. Be an emergency room or be a doctor. But you gotta pick one and make sure that whatever you pick, you can service to the full. When there's no plumbers to hire, there's still a lot of plumbers that don't work for you working in your city. You're just not known enough. And so everybody tries to be just known enough because you don't want to overspend your marketing. And he goes, well, what do you do with all the money you spend on leads that you can't get to? And I'm like, well, what do you do with all the money you don't make when you're slow? See how this goes both ways? So I would rather spend a couple extra thousand every month and waste it and be known and have leads and momentum and be moving forward and I can hire into than to have that day, just one day when I'm slow. It'll be a couple grand in revenue off of one truck that we don't get.
It's that time again!
You've now entered the No Sales Zone.
No Sales Zone.
Where Chris Fresh,
the plumbing sales coach,
peels back the curtain of what sales really is. Buckle up, and get ready to learn how to increase ticket average by providing better service. And now, your host,
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
CF,
the plumbing sales coach.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Fresh Approach. Tonight, I'm hosting, but I have a special guest. I have somebody in the room that's going to be coming on here in a few minutes, and they have sold over over $1.2 million a couple years back. They do about $1 million every year out of their truck as a plumber. They run their own calls, they plumb their own stuff, and tonight we're going to be listening to what he does and how he does it. And I hope you have your pen and paper because this is the time to be taking notes. This is someone who is actually out there doing it, and I cannot wait for you to hear from him. But before we get into that, what's up? Welcome to the show. We got so much to cover. Mini Chat is just struggling, so we can't get our notifications out. Hopefully that'll be coming back soon so we can let you guys know when we're live. But we have shifted nights from Mondays and Thursdays. So now they're going to be Monday nights and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to be bringing all kinds of tips and tricks and different things that you need to know as a business owner in the service plumbing trade, as a service plumber in the service plumbing trade. And quite honestly, this works for all the trades. This works for all the worlds, all the industries, because at the end of the day, we're just building relationships the old school way, the right way, and that's with trust. Who do we have watching? We got Jake McHale in the house. What's up, brother? Where are you from? Tell us where you're from. Tell us where you plumb. Tell us where you live. What shop do you work for, or what shop do you own, and where are you plumbing? Chris Banks in the house. Logan William in the house. Mary Sperlin in the house. Chuck Dollarite says, heck yeah. Lucas, he already knows who's coming on here. Robert Avila, what up, big dog? We got Drew in the house. We got Robert Barnes in the house. What's up, Robert? All the way from Atlanta. We got so many people, and it's good to have you guys on here. Tim and Christine Sanchez. We got Irvin in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you. I'm only here to watch Lucas stutter, Bob says. That's hilarious. Way to be a supporter, brother. That's funny. Actually, Lucas works for Bob, so in case you guys are wondering that relationship, Advanced Plumbing Systems out of La Crosse, Wisconsin, and Lucas Cina is going to be my special guest here in a few minutes. But before we get to Lucas, who is an absolute beast in the game, the guy did, like I said, 1.2 million for specifically 1 year. I know he's done over $1 million pretty much every year. He was probably born doing $1 million. The guy's an absolute natural. If you were around him for a while, you'd realize he's not a salesman. He's not what everyone claims that I am on the internet. He is real deal, and we're going to learn from him. But what's up, Jimmy Corbett? Good to see you. Is it Centeny Plumbing, Heating, and Electric? Welcome to the show. Just here to verify his numbers. Bob, yeah, Bob knows. And Bob's a beast in the field, too, while we're at it. We'll give him a shout-out. He's a killer in the game. I've ran calls with both these guys. In fact, when we bring Lucas on, we'll tell you the chainsaw story. I did a magic trick on a customer, like did magic in front of him in his driveway, did a little magic trick with his chainsaw blade, and it still wasn't good enough for Lucas. What's up, Thurman? Good to see you. Hey, look, tonight we're talking about how to run this thing the right way, how to do this call. In fact, we're talking about how to do $1 million out of your truck. Our main point tonight, I believe they're going to flash it up on the screen here in a second, but our main point tonight is really how to generate $20,000 a week the right way. Now, if you're a service plumbing owner, you've got trucks out there that you want to be doing 20K a week out of, I'm sure, in service residential. This isn't commercial work. This isn't sewer lines only, liners. These are literally leaking valves, leaking shutoffs, diagnosing, educating, and running the call the right way. But here's the craziest part. Lucas is averaging under 5 calls a week. I said it right. 5 calls or less a week. Not a day, a week. Chesco, I mean, how could he run all them calls? How could he run any more calls? He's too busy plumbing. Chesco Plumbing, Southeast Pennsylvania. And I get all these comments all the time on my page. There's, oh, you're out selling people. Okay, what? Make your decisions what I actually know is going on. But I tell you, the people that go 5 calls a day are the ones really hustling and bustling and selling. What's up, Chris? Finally had me some in and out. Patrick, I had in and out yesterday. I just flew back into town. I'm in Atlanta right now at my plumbing shop in Atlanta. For those that don't know, I own a plumbing shop in Atlanta. I'm partners with a couple of people. We own this shop down here together. I'm the one that is influencing all decisions. I'm in the house most of the week or a couple times a week. And Robert Barnes is our actual partner that's operating it. He's a killer as well. Another $1 million plumber. Another guy that can produce that kind of money. A legitimate $1 million plumber. A real one. Thurman Coker already said what's up to you. Hey, tell us where you're from. Where are you plumbing at? Patrick, I know you're down in the great state of Texas, the big state of Texas, the massive state, I believe, of Texas. Where are you from? Where are you at? What's up, Blake Johnson? Okay, I want to get into this. Before I do, I have a couple announcements. We got a big event coming up. Now, before we have our guest come on, he's going to be at this event. So this event's a live event in Indianapolis, March 21st, March 22nd. It's all day the 21st, half day 22nd. It's an in-person live tech event. I'll be hosting. I'll be leading all the training for the whole event, and then Lucas is going to be there. We're going to bring him up. You guys are going to be able to ask questions right there. You're going to be able to see him all throughout the breaks. It's going to be in my little compound, our little office district. So we'll eat lunch on site. Everyone will be available to everyone. You guys will be able to ask us questions and learn from whoever you want to learn from. And if you're an owner, we've got a special for you. Flash that back up. We got one ticket for $397. We got 3 tickets for $997. And if you buy the 3-pack, the owner gets to come from free. A little taste of value stacking. Mike Turney says, plumbing business owner here from Rockford, Illinois. Western North Carolina in the house. Millwood Plumbing Services, Lake. Is it Oconee, Georgia? Thanks for the merch. You're welcome. Western Slope, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. No. I felt it. Chesco Plumbing, Southeast Pennsylvania. Oh, man, that was messing me up. Patrick Huron and Patrick Fulton. I'm going to cross those up. I promise. I guarantee it's just a matter of time. Farmington, Missouri in the house. HDR Plumbing. What's up, Ricky Reeves Jr.? I like that name, man. Ricky Reeves Jr. You could be in NASCAR, bro. I don't know, but I think you could be in NASCAR. Prakash popping in from New Orleans, Louisiana. What's up? Welcome. Got over 500 people watching. Let's get into this. Let's bring our guests onto the show. We got Lucas Cina in the house from Advanced Plumbing Systems. Did over $1 million out of his truck for the last, I don't know, Lucas, how many years now? You're muted. Let's get you unmuted. Oh, you're not muted.
3 years now.
Or wait, he might be muted. Team, check that out. Make sure. Can you guys hear Lucas? Let me know if you can hear Lucas. He said 3 years in a row. 3 years in a row. Let me get to the comments here. Someone just pop in real quick. Let us know if you can hear Lucas. I'm showing he's muted. Lucas, talk for a second. We'll see.
Can you hear me?
There it is. Oh, they can hear you, bro. They can hear you. Okay,
Right.
3 years in a row. You said 3?
It's going on 3, yeah.
Man, all right. That's not a big deal, is it?
No, not at all.
All right. I don't think it is either. I mean, it should just be norm, right? Everyone should just do $1 million out of their truck every year, $20,000 a week. I think a lot of people watching would like to know how you do it. So we've got 3 things that we're going to talk about with everyone tonight. And I've broken down watching you and knowing you over the years, but I want to start with this story. So me and Lucas went on a call. He's from La Crosse, Wisconsin. We crossed over into Minnesota. The feds aren't watching, are they? We crossed over into Minnesota, and Lucas and I think it already ran a call or 2 or 4 a year before this, and then so I think this was another visit. Is that right?
Yeah.
And we go on this call, and the guy's in his driveway, and he's trying to undo his chainsaw, and he's been working on this thing for a while. He's got his chainsaw chained; it's all jangled up. I grew up in the sticks, so I undid it for him real quick within like 15 seconds, and the guy's like, "Wow, I've been working on that for like 20 minutes." And magic trick, right? Won the guy over. He loved me. Didn't win Lucas over, though. We run the call. The guy's got a P-trap. They installed a washing machine. They busted the P-trap at the bottom. It's cracked. It's leaking onto the floor. They can't do laundry now. They can't use their new washing machine. So that's what we're there for. So we came out, gave him a quote, and we noticed a couple things. We noticed some of the shutoffs were rusty. So we started asking things. On the way down there, the gate valves were all old and whatnot, but they were unrelated, so we didn't talk about it. We just mentioned the P-trap, told him what it would take to fix it, and then asked him if he had any trouble with the shutoffs, I think, for the washing machine. I'm exactly how it unfolded. And then we started asking questions. I was actually running this call. Questions. The guy started answering the questions. We get all the way through the call. Lucas, I don't remember what you probably remember because you remember every single thing. How much was that call that we ended up converting there? Do you remember?
It was about $4,000.
$4,000. So I'm like, Lucas, the customer goes upstairs and we're getting ready. We were doing something with the P-trap, trying to figure out something and how we're going to do it. And Lucas is like, bro, you didn't test his iron. I'm like, bro, you're correcting me? I just converted a P trap into a $4,000 conversion, and you're correcting me. It's still not good enough for you, bro. And that's a true story, right? And then you went
Yeah.
back and you tested his iron that morning or that evening. It was like 5 in the evening. We were leaving. You came back and then you told him about what you. We ended up replacing the well tank and a couple of pressure tank and a couple other things, and then you brought up the iron filter. Okay, Andrew Cornwell says Lucas is the man. I completely agree. So today is not Tuesday. It's not. We are doing these Mondays and Thursdays now. And Lucas did over $1 million of. In fact, the 1 year I specifically remember, you did 1.2.
Yeah.
Do you know what your current opportunity average? Meaning, if you count all the zeros, he's like, I don't get zeros. If you count all the zeros into it, what's your average?
About 4,800 per call.
Okay, I already knew that answer. Let's break it down. Let's break it down. All right, first point we want to make tonight is efficiency. This is going to be a crucial part to your ability to do 20K a week out of your truck, okay? Lucas, tell me a little bit about your truck stock. What are you stocked with? What are you rocking with?
So I'm stocked with most essentials for every breakdown, in a typical 2 to 3 bedroom house, 2 bathroom. I can fix anything in that house. And it's all a truck stock that we go through every week, and we dial it in. If we see something the next week or the next month that we need, we get it. So we just make sure that we got the quantities we need to fix that. Now, anything above and beyond, like whole repipes and stuff, we don't carry that because a big order, we're going to order it.
I mean, a $4,800 ticket average, I'm assuming you have to go to supply shop still, right?
Yeah.
But you're not starting from scratch, right?
No, we
So
got,
you've got all the fittings, you've got all the connections. You just need the for the most part, you just need the fixture of the appliance, right?
right.
And so how long are you convert a $4,800 ticket? How long are you at the supply shop?
Typically 10 minutes. I mean, I know a guy that knows a guy, so I bypass I try to get out as fast
I
as I
bet
can.
your truck alone is like you're probably moving as much material for them as a plumbing shop. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, right? So, I mean, look, first of all, everyone watching, what questions do you have for him? Stick with residential service. That's exactly right. Rescue One from Southeast PA says, what's up? Yeah, ask your questions. This is your shot to get some questions answered from someone that's doing it, that's crushing it. Lucas, where did you learn to do all this?
A lot of it's from, Bob, and I'd be honest, Bob brought me on, and I'd been doing some of the things you taught, but Bob brought me onto your program. In the first year, I was like, I'm not going to watch this guy. I thought I was better than that. Just being
You are,
honest.
bro. You are. You all are, by the way.
But, after watching you and how original it is, and it's not a salesman approach to it, it kind of, it came natural. I've been doing most of it, but putting it in the right order is the key.
Mike Turney wants to know what market you're in. Mike, I got a hat for you, brother. Let's get that on the list, team. Let's get him a hat. Let us know in the comments if you want a flat bill or a trucker cap. And then send us your address in the instant messenger, and we'll get that hat out to you. But yeah, what market are you? You're in a huge market, aren't you?
We got about 200,000 people.
So not a huge market.
No.
And how that's pretty spread out, right? You're in La Crosse,
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think there's like.
Oh, sorry, on Alaska.
Well, no, La Crosse, which is
Yeah, I'm just messing around.
60,000.
No one's ever heard of either one. For those that aren't sure what La Crosse is, it's that 70s show. They're famous for having the tallest six-pack in the world as a shrine. What's the earliest sell, or I think you said easiest sell, and what do you do when you overcome objections? All right, that's going to be good. We're going to table that question and come back. That's a good question. Can you walk us through how you handle a leaking water here? Okay, we got some really good questions. They're like, hey, can you just go ahead and train us? He said about 250K. I think he's talking about how much material Lucas moves, which is interesting because that means you're still maintaining below a 25% material margin, even though you're moving tanklesses, softeners, repipes. But your calls aren't tankless calls. Your calls aren't water softener calls. What kind of calls are you running?
I got a pinhole leak. I got a leaky toilet. I got slow drains, and it's all the little calls that get you the bigger calls.
What else? What else are you running into?
We run into a lot of frozen pipes. We run into a lot of
Frozen
other questions.
pipes. You guys
Yeah.
have frozen lakes. People be ice fishing. I saw trucks rolling on the lake one day, and I was like, "What's that's not allowed." Now he says not getting those numbers in rural areas. That's where he works, bro. Don't assume, Cameron. That's all. The Bob just said it. It's 200,000 people, but it's just a bunch of little towns spread out for 20,000 people. I was there, dude. The La Crosse, Wisconsin is, and you know this, Lucas, but I mean, it's not a wealthy area.
No.
And I mean, we were staying in some homes where I'm just like,
I mean, I've been into homes with no windows in them. I mean,
okay,
just plastic.
yeah.
But
Cameron, tell
never.
me you're still on here so I know that you heard that answer. Jimmy Brown, we're working on that. That's just a Facebook issue. I wish we could get those notifications out. They're struggling. That mini chat. Yeah, are you still selling or doing the work too? He does it all. Yeah, I mean, honestly, when's the last time someone did your plumbing?
When I was too busy doing something else.
When you're too busy plumbing? Yeah, look, guys, don't look for how this isn't going to work for you. Lucas, are you a guy that likes to be on? Do you like being? I mean, do you like being on the stage? Do you like the spotlight on you?
No, I'm really shy. So
Very
try to
shy. I didn't. Even,
I
I was
want
like, who? Yeah, Lucas doesn't talk much. He doesn't say much. Very observant. Very curious. Ridiculously curious. In fact, sometimes I'm like, all right, bro, I can't answer some of these questions. You're getting a little personal. Doesn't matter what my wife's social is. What are you asking that for? Good. I'm glad you heard that, Cameron, because I think this is normal for everyone. You know, I get crucified on the internet. I got hailed the other day. Someone's just lighting me up saying this guy obviously doesn't own a business. I own two right now, currently, both over $1 million companies. Both my coaching business is well over 1 million. I think we're pacing almost 2 million. The current plumbing company I own is we do around 60, 70,000 a week. So we're right, we'll call it three, pacing three and a half. Bob says this about you. You're very empathetic. You're very empathetic. I love that about you. Andrew Cuomo says, I know Lucas personally. This is legit. Andrew Cuomo is also a plumber. He owns a plumbing company in Indianapolis, Indiana, Pittsburgh, but right outside of Indianapolis. Andrew's a real one. Look, just know this. If they're on this show, they're a real one. I promise you that. I promise you that. I've seen them personally. I know them. And I've been on calls with you. You know me. We know each other. In fact, I know your whole family. It's crazy. Your whole family, the whole thing. Signing up tomorrow, help me grow my company. David, you got it. Hey, look, I want to dive into this efficiency a little bit more. So, in the mornings, what's your morning routine like? You come into the shop, you probably do training or something like that. And then what's up? Are you hanging around smoking cigarettes? You talking to all the guys? You running around doing your greetings? Are you taking 30 minutes to get out the door? Tell me what your morning routine is.
No, so usually I'll come in early and I'll get my van cleaned out and I want to be ready for the next day. I don't want to hit the ground running at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. I want to be ready to go. And I usually do it the night before, think about it quick. Next morning I get there a little bit early. It's not every day, but a little early. And then we do training and then I'm ready to go. I mean, I'm at the job by 8,
So you're
8:15.
preparing in the morning.
Yeah.
You're not preparing. You're not waiting until the day starts to go clean your truck out. You're not waiting. I mean, honestly, let me ask you this: if you cleaned your truck out at 8 a.m., you just decide I'm gonna go clean my truck out for my first call. How much revenue or time would that take off the table? Meaning, do you think you would not be able to do 1 million, and also, or would you be working later to do that 1 million?
You'd be working later. I mean, you waste an hour, hour and a half. If they say to be there at 7:30 and you're there at 7:30, but you got 30 minutes to clean your truck out. I mean, by the time you get that all done, you're not to your first call till 9:30.
Yeah, Evan Pellerin says that, and Evan, I don't know Evan personally, but I've watched him for the last 5 years with the neighborhood plumber and Ben and those guys, and he says that part is very important. A clean, organized van equals peak efficiency. Mike says, I know that room. Mike, wake up. What up? Mike, you've been in this room, bro. How long did it take Lucas to get the system down to where it was comfortable and just flowed? Yeah, how long did that take you? Because we
I'd
do
say,
things different a little bit.
yeah, I mean, after I got over the objection of not knowing who you were, not liking you, I'd say about a year.
Thanks for being honest here. This is the place of honesty, everyone. Beat up
Well,
on
I
Chris.
mean, you know, you get thrown at a training and you just don't know the guy. It's hard to trust the guy, but once you get to know the guy, it's easier to trust and listen.
Yeah, and once you see me in a home and you realize that I'm doing what I'm saying and all those things, it matters, right?
Hmm.
Logan says, I assume these numbers are coming from water quality, water heater installs and replacements. Would that be correct? Logan, if you missed it a minute ago, he's going on pinhole leaks. He's going on, my faucet drips. My toilet won't. My toilet's clogged. I went on a call with them. I converted it into 4K, and it was just a P trap that had cracked for the washing machine. And then he turned it into even more after I left. Trying to figure out logo brand tips to be seen and get phone ringing. It's a big part of it, Cameron. Got to be sticky. Daniel Correa says, how to generate 20K a week, the right guy. What's tonight's topic? Oh, I see. You were answering him. Um, look, answer that really quick about these water quality. I mean, you do test water quality?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay. Do you tell everyone they have to buy a softener?
No, I tell them the exact opposite. I say you don't need to buy it, but it will help you. You know,
Oh man, there he goes. I want to highlight that really quick because you got so many of these trainers out there trying to get people to say yes. So they're trying to get the service plumber to go on them and get a yes. And what we do, and we do it the same way, is we go in and we just get the customer to understand what's going on in their home. We tell them they don't have to do nothing. Is that how you do it?
yeah, you don't need anything. You know, it's about educating and you know, Bob would probably be mad at me, but I unsold 20K once because I diagnosed wrong. You know, it's being honest.
He's joking, Bob. What? Surrounding air for you. Okay, look, I want you to think about this for a second. Bob says his as you were saying that, Bob was bragging on you. Now Bob can't get us. He's trying to type something new, probably. His organization is unbelievable. I brought so many bins and shelves for him to keep organized. Yeah. And that was your desire. Mahi says, you riding around with an apprentice all day. I hope not, but apprentice ride along every day. Is that something you have?
No, I like working alone.
Did you hear that? It's not our job to force a sell on anybody. Educate them and let them make their decision. Bingo. Evan gets a hat. Evan gets a hat. Evan, let us know. You want a trucker cap, flat bill, and then DM us with your address. How do you do much excavating, sewer, or mostly plumbing? Was another question from William.
I would say we do about 20% excavating, the rest is plumbing.
Okay, and are you getting new sewer line calls, or are you getting clogged toilets and things like that turn into sewer calls?
No, clogged toilets, backed up drains that are turned into sewer calls.
Uh, McNutwan, I think is the name. Augustine, sorry if I butchered that. I'm really sorry. But he says, I wish I could work with you. All you got to do is move to, you have to learn ice fishing and you have to move to La Crosse, Wisconsin. And Bob Kellogg will hire you tomorrow. That's awesome. True $1 million plumber right there. He is a legitimate one. Legitimate one. So let's move into the septic topic. Septic topic. No, the second topic. So we talked about efficiency. Really important to be efficient. Really got to be dialed in. But the second one is the way you speak to the customer. And one of the things I love about you, Lucas, is that you're not trying to teach your customer plumbing in the sense of so they can become a plumber. And I think that's a big mistake a lot of us make out there is we try to get the customer to the point to where now they can go teach someone plumbing. Would you mind? I didn't prep for any of this, but would you mind kind of explaining how a water softener works to the crowd and how you explain that to the customer?
So the biggest thing I do is when I get in there, I figure out who I'm talking to. Am I talking to what personality type? And depending on that situation is how I explain it. If it's
Can you explain that really quick?
so if it's somebody that's a very D personality, I'll just tell them, this stuff, it's going to eat away your pipes. It's going to cost you more money. I'm very straightforward, very fast, the way they like it. If it's somebody that's very conscious, I'm a lot slower, explaining to them how it's going to benefit them. I will show them pictures. Sometimes I'll even cut the piece of pipe out without charging them just to show them what it's doing to the pipe. Going a little bit above and beyond to give that explanation.
So your goal is to A, make sure that they fully understand what's going on, but B, you want to make sure you're doing it in the way their brain works, the way they receive things.
Yeah.
Someone asked, what's your biggest challenge you face when adapting to the different personalities?
My biggest challenge is probably the different, ethnicities, or I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Asian people that don't speak full English. I struggle with trying to find out what they value and stuff like that, and explaining anything to them. If you're doing it through an app or stuff like that, and we just did that last week, and it's difficult.
Yeah, I think that's a misconception a lot, not you, but a lot of people have out there, is they'll assign a group of people as being cheap or difficult to work with, and it's just a language barrier. It's just a culture barrier a lot of times. Not even language is a piece of the culture, and maybe the what they value or their upbringing. I remember going down to Ecuador, and it was like, they took us to this like little local market, and they were like, hey, don't pay. They'll find it offensive almost if you just pay. They want to go back and forth. They want to barter. I found that interesting because it's almost like, well, dang, I don't want to be cheap, and they're like, you're not being. That's just the culture. It's how it works. Being respectful, actually, and I found that very, very interesting. Right in life. Logan says, are you working with a service manager or solo in your company?
Service
Um,
manager.
yeah, Logan, he's in the program. I think we use Meta glasses on that one. The customer you're talking about. Um, yeah, look, Lucas is the truth. This is Chris McGann. He speaks the truth, very knowledgeable, straight to the point. Someone that knows you as well. We all know Chris. Chris is awesome dude. Look, I mean, it's so important that you guys really grasp what he's saying. He's basically prepared. He's efficient because he's prepared. He's ready to rock and roll. He's ready for any scenario. And then when he goes in and he turns it into a bigger ticket, he might have to go back to supply shop and get appliances. He might have to go back to supply shop and get some fixtures, but he doesn't have to go back and get 390s, Street 45. He doesn't have to go over here. He doesn't have to get all these different things, because what happens is he's prepared. And so he's got that stuck on his truck. When do you find yourself restocking?
Every day. So after every job,
I
we
bet.
type the materials into our notes, and then the office orders it the next morning, so it's on our truck before we leave the next day.
Mahi says, any process you have after the call is done, do you run through the call in your mind every time?
I only run through the bad ones. I beat myself up a lot about the bad ones, and I'm human, It's you
Yeah,
run a
you've called
bad
me about
call.
the bad ones.
Yeah, I mean, you run a
What could I
bad
have done
call, and
differently here? And I'm like,
yeah,
well, you're Superman. Well, I doubt you could have done anything different.
no, I'm almost like, well, can I just give you a free toilet so I can just do the job? It's just, to me, they hurt the most.
Well, and can you break down why? It's not about the money, right?
No, it's about I didn't run the process. I either assumed something. Yeah, I either assumed something or
Let her on for a second. Tell the folks at home what's up. She loves you.
yeah, yeah. I know she's not wearing pants though, so.
Okay, don't bring her on the camera.
Oh,
So
yeah.
look, there we go. What's up?
So no, it's
I
the bad calls. I did something wrong, and I have to analyze why I did it wrong, or what I did wrong. Did I force something that wasn't needed? Did I didn't connect with them.
it's funny, Lucas. When I'm in the home, I'm a lot slower of a talker. I ask a lot of questions. I'm sure everyone just thinks I'm going a mile a minute trying to talk people into stuff because I'm on here just going. But you don't have that speech pattern that I have, and so
Mm.
you're way more laid back, way more relaxed, way more shy. I like the mic. In fact, give me the mic. But you don't, and I find it very interesting that you and I can have the same numbers, or you can have better numbers than me. Even in fact, I've told Lucas to his face. The only difference between me and him being the plumbing sales coach is I beat him to the internet. I mean, the guy is highly gifted, highly capable, ridiculous, ridiculous. And it's not that he's a gifted salesman.
I hate
That's not
sales.
it. He hates sales. Most people wouldn't believe me, but I don't like sales. That's why I do this whole service thing. And for those that always look at us and go, "Oh, I bet you're teaching sales." Well, you're assuming. No one in the program is saying that. It's just the people on the outside, and it's just such a refreshment to the people. I'm sure seeing you and saying, "Okay, here's someone who's a service plumber, like a legit plumber that can have big numbers, and you don't have to be a salesman to do it. What would you say is the key to your ability? What would be what
Empathy.
would
Empathy.
empathy? What about okay? So that would be a virtue or maybe a characteristic of you, a personality type. What about like your skill set? What skill set do you feel like you're using the most when you sell?
Man, I don't know. That's a tough question. I would say, my skill set is, past my past mistakes. I've learned from them to try to make myself better.
That's interesting. So self reflection.
Hmm.
I've always thought, and you might change your answer if you hear this, but I love that. Is that I've always thought diagnosing was the skill set that sells, not not necessarily the best words or the best lines. It was just the customer understanding what's going on in their home.
I mean, it's a diagnosing, but it's just, the ability to see what that person is and how they need to be talked to. It's
Yeah, that's a crazy perspective. And the other one where you said was self reflection. I think that's a kind of a Kobe Bryant mentality, right? He's self reflected. What can I get? And just sit around and watch the videos of how good he is. He's constantly on himself about getting better. In fact, they have the famous interview with him where he's up 2-0 in the finals. He's like, we're not done. What's there to celebrate? I just love that. What's your discipline patterns in this process? In the process, anything you do consistently?
three options. Um, Voxer in front of the customer.
Don't you make me cry?
Um, I, we were even going through it this week. The fresh acronyms. Fears. Finding out what their biggest fear is without just, everybody's got a different way to ask it. I ask it depending on how they're acting, but I find out the fear the first
And you're
thing.
talking specifically about their concern or what's
Yeah,
bothering them or what's really going on here. Yeah, I
yeah.
love that. So you're seeking to understand the person, you're understanding the person,
Hmm.
and then you're educating them in a way that they can understand. So walk us through really quick. And for those that are watching and you guys keep asking about like what's this process, I'm going to walk you through when we bring them off. I'm going to walk you through me running a call in the home. We'll just walk all the way through it and give you guys kind of a mock call so you can kind of put all this together and hear it. I think that'll be huge. We'll do that tonight before we hop off. But as far as like, when you're in that home, I don't remember what I asked you. Uh, do you remember?
Something about I get a free sweatshirt, something like
And this guy will talk you right out of a free sweatshirt somehow, so you
that.
don't even really see it coming.
It's cold up
What's
here.
the best pay structure? I don't like piece rate at all. Right way plumbing. I am a results based economy. So but I also don't like our guys are on commission here, but we have a proven system that they can run, so they're not out there just fending for their lives on commission. Lucas is in that same kind of. I think you're in that same kind of
Yep,
process, that same style.
yep,
So it's not so much just um, it's not so much just like what's the exact way, but I do think results based economy piece rate I've never liked. It can be manipulated. It's not really about the customer getting the best experience. What I'm after is more about a process to give everyone the same experience, educate them well. Then they'll probably come to the same conclusions I came to once they know what I know as far as my solutions go. And then from there, we're going to get into this last piece, value stacking, which is crazy. Now, Lucas, if I'm not mistaken, I hate to give up your income, but people can probably do the math here. You're making more than $120 a year.
yeah. I think 134 last year.
134. We'll call it 135 for fun. Round up, right? Let's have some fun
Hmm.
with it. 135K a year. So you're working till midnight every night, I assume.
No, 4 or 5.
Nights and weekends.
Not never.
Not never, never
Well,
ever. No non-call, no on-call at that shop because the internet's roasting me right now for saying on-call. Not if you don't have on-call, you can't be a true plumbing business. Are all your customers, you guys just don't help them? You just leave them die in the woods?
no.
No, you have a process. And so you don't have to work nights and weekends because the company has the right process. The customers get to take care of while you sleep at night. 8 to 5, Monday through you're a banker?
No, it's 7:15 to
Oh,
4 or 5.
7:15 to 4 or 5. So you're a
Yeah,
banker, and
yeah.
then you're making 135. You've done 1.2 million out of your truck, 1 million out of your truck. How much do you think you gave away? Not the 20K, but like in the value stacks.
Almost double that. No, not quite double.
So
Don't
you
tell
probably
Bob.
given away a good 400,000 in plumbing over the. Well, he could see it.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, that's
Well,
a
let's
lot.
let's transition to that last piece. Everyone's like, "What do you mean giveaway?" Well, first of all, just in the context of this, I want you to remember he collected over a million for 3 years in a row. He made 135,000 last year. So no one's giving anything away. But what we teach is how to value stack, and we use this method to not discount, but to show the customer the benefit of saving in value if they don't do everything one at a time, if they actually do it all at once. No different than if you go to 7-Eleven and buy one energy drink. It's going to be way more expensive than if you go buy a 24 pack. And the company that's selling you a 24 pack and giving you a deal isn't ripping you off. They're just passing on the savings because you're buying in volume. It isn't anything new. Travis Simpson already 400,000. The whole point of that is it doesn't matter because when you're doing it this way, I'll give you guys a quick example. And that brings up our final point. And again, I'm going to run you all through the scenario at the end. As soon as Lucas hops off, we're going to spend 10, 15 minutes running you guys through a mock. But look, what Lucas is talking about is if he goes on a call and runs and he's going to do an angle stop, or a straight stop, he's going to charge 250, 350, whatever he charges. And if he does that one angle stop, he's got to bleed the system out. He's got to drive to the home. He's got to diagnose. He's got to do all this stuff. But if he replaces all the angle stop, let's say 12, well, it's not going to take 12 hours. Now, the customer, if they replace the angle stop one at a time, that's 12 hours. That's 12. In fact, it's 24 hours. Half hour to drive there, half hour to diagnose, half hour to do the work, 15 minutes to clean up, collect payment, get out of there. So it's 2 hours of your life for every one shutoff. So now what turned from 24 hours of real time and 12 hours of wrench time gets reduced down to how fast can you do 12 angle stops, 12 straight stops in a home?
2 hours.
And why can't we pass that savings on to the customer? We could literally do those angle stops at half price in that volume, only be at the house for 3 hours and triple and quadruple our revenue. What this is an old adage. And it's kind of like this. You can be a regular doctor, you can be a knee surgeon, you can be a brain surgeon. You all might be in the operating room for an hour, but the brain surgeon is making the most per hour because he brings more value. If you go look up Jim Rohn, this is where I learned it from, by the way, Rohn, the guy's passed away now, but this is where I learned it from. He says, don't ask for more money per hour, increase your value per hour. And that's just a secret little trick there. Teach me, please, Chris Fresh. Hey, really quick before we get into this final point. He said, give away. Wait, what? What are we giving away? Hey, look, let me give you guys a little something. We just started this. It just launched. It's $10 a month. If you have ever wanted training from me, we charge thousands. Thousands. In fact, someone just roasted me on the internet. They said, this guy charges $3,000 a month for owners. Now, we've got products that aren't that expensive, but the particular company you work for, it was $3,000 a month. We charge a lot of money, but we got this new $10 subscription. We don't offer products to techs. And now we're going to finally do it at $10 a month. $10 a month. And what you're going to get is going to be right here on Facebook. You got to go on our page, subscribe, and we will give you bonus tips, secrets, and exclusive lives with me. So every week you're going to get a post with me teaching you something like this, but more in depth on there. And you're going to get access to that. And then on top of that, once a month, we're going to meet live like this, but it's just going to be us, just the people subscribing. And it's just going to be Q&A time. And I want to help. I want to give you guys as much as I can. He says, do you have options? LOL. Not for this one. I just said, look, we'll just make it as cheap as possible. I think it's actually it's $9.99 a month. I really can't get any. I don't think I can get any. Hey, Lucas, I don't think I can get any cheaper than that, right? David's signing up for the actual coaching program for the company. Don't overthink the numbers. Look at the end numbers. The method works 10 out of 10, Chris McGann says, or Blair McGann says. Your first month is half off. Well, that's not true, Tyler. That's only for the first 5 people to sign up, I think, and then Facebook cut that off. So I think there's 5 people can sign up. No telling if that's already been taken. I haven't looked. Okay. And probably we're going to use that money and just give it away on the show anyways, to be honest with you guys. It's not going to be our, I just want to create an environment for you guys to get more if you want more. All right, Lucas, value stacking, changing customers' buying habits. That's the third option. So you go into a call, just like all of us go into these things. And my plumbing, just for the record, we do have some programs that are like $800 a month and less. No contract, something like that. Just throwing that out there. I think 20K would depend on the location. Nicholas, it doesn't. The guy is in La Crosse, Wisconsin. He's in the middle of nowhere, one of the poorest towns I've ever been in. I'm in Atlanta, Indiana. I mean, Atlanta, I live in Indiana. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, at Peach Plumbing. There's a lot of people here. There's nobody in his town. Nobody in his town. It doesn't, man. And I've seen it happen in other places. Where's David White? Is David White on here? Is David White on here, bro? Where are you at, David? Tell the world where you're at. Tell the world where you're at. And David White's company averages these crazy numbers. Tupelo, Mississippi. Oh, that's David White right there. He says it works. David White says if it works here, it works. I don't care if you're on an island and there's only 5 people on it. It's too funny. Too funny. Where's he at? I'm in Indiana, brother. Right Way Plumbing. Where you at? Indiana, where at? That's close. I'm in Indianapolis. Okay. Changing the customer's buying habit. Now, Lucas, how many times have you gone on a call and it was like, yeah, we're probably not going to do that today. Don't have a lot of money. Don't really want to. And then you're walking out of there with a $3,800 ticket or a $5,800 ticket.
80-90% of the time.
Would you say that your prices in option 3 are 1,000% cheaper than any other plumbing company in your area?
No, we're almost one of the most.
In your third option, though, with the value stack?
Oh,
I doubt it.
well, no, it would be cheaper if you throw in all the stuff in and all that.
So throw me like a fill valve. What would a rebuild on a toilet be?
About $289.
Okay, what would a water heater be just by itself?
1900 for electric.
Okay, what would a 1,800, 1,900 electric? Let's say you got to put a PRV and an expansion tank on that system. PRV's chest high and in the basement accessible.
PRV is usually 890,
Expansion tank.
about 310.
So 890, 310. That's 1,200 plus the water heater's 1,800, $3,000. What are you selling that package for?
2400.
So you're giving the PRV away for free?
Pretty much, yeah.
But you can't do that, Lucas. You can't make money if you give stuff away for free. Lucas, no, you got to make money on that PRV, right? Do you think your customers would still buy option 3 is at the rapid speed that they do if everything was just full price?
No.
So they would stick to their original assessment of I don't want to spend a bunch. I don't want to do unnecessary stuff in my home. Yeah. See, nobody wants to spend unnecessary money. And I'm not going to teach you guys how to go get them to spend unnecessary money. But what I'm going to show you to do is have some integrity, go in the home, give someone an experience, and value stack in a way to where everybody wins. You ever feel like you're working for free? Even though you're doing free stuff, do you ever feel like you're actually working for free? No, you made $130K. So anyone out there like, well, I would never do free work. Well, then you won't make $130,000 a year. So that's fine. But I see too many people tripping over dollars trying to get the nickels. Yeah, what's your conversion rate?
92% last year.
I love you. I love you, man. In the comments, how many of you have seen me for a while and you're like, I don't know about this dude? Massive amount of plumbers in our county per capita, companies coming up from different counties as well. Yeah, we got that in Atlanta. Look, man, nothing matters. Once the customer is on the phone with you, you're the only thing that matters. Go in there, give them an experience. I see people flying over states with amusement parks in it. And then they land in Florida and they go to Universal or they go to Disney World and there's no discounts there. They spend all their money and then their kids' future college funds. I mean, what are we doing here? Look, stop looking for reasons why things won't work. Start looking for why they will work, and I promise they will. They just will. Nothing beats service. Nothing beats hospitality. Nothing beats a great deal. What would be the biggest discount you've ever given someone? Everyone's going to stop watching this news. I already know. What's the biggest discount?
Yeah, I've given away a tankless.
Unpack that for us.
Well, I sold a whole house, repipe, water, sewer, and all underground. It was like 42,000. So I mean, we threw the tankless in.
You know, Mike, I can never pronounce your name, bro, but I know exactly who you are. You've been watching me for a long time. You know, I've always had a dream of working with you for some reason. I know the reason. The very first company I ever helped, the very first one that they were doing 13K a week. They had like 3 kind of busted up trucks. They were the old what was those, the Sprinter, the Mercedes Sprinters. Like all the boosters were going out on them. You guys remember the diesel booster? Anyways, tons of miles on them. And the name of the company was Attaboy Plumbing. And your company name in California is Attaboy Plumbing. And I'm from California. I grew up in Southern California. I think you're in the Sacramento area, but I could be wrong on that. Maybe San Francisco area. I think Sacramento area. For some reason, I feel like you're in the Sacramento area. And I grew up just like 80 miles north of Sacramento. I was in Southern California until I was 8, then we moved up to North Nevada County until I was 17. Always wanted to work with you, bro. But we're not salesy, so we got to, I had to wait 7 years for you to say that. That's crazy, right? I'll wait. I'll wait, bro. I'll wait. I'll wait for you. Okay. We are the real Attaboy. Oh, come on. That hurts, bro. I think I know what you mean by that, though. Chico, dude, he's the 99, right? Chico, Fresno, no, right? Napa, Fresno. Yeah, you're in Chico. That's the valley, right? Chico Valley, right? Yeah, you're off the 99. I think we used to pass through there going from Northern California to Southern California. Chico. Okay. Tell us one thing here before we hop off, before we let you go, because I'm gonna run a mock call after you hop off.
Mhm.
How awesome am I? No, I'm kidding. That'd be crazy. No, in all seriousness, Lucas, we've hung out together. We've gone to some minor league baseball games. I won the 50-50 raffle at that baseball game. That was wild. You've been doing this for 3 years now. At least familiar with our program anyways. When I met you, I already knew you had this natural gifting. And the gifting isn't sales. The gifting is what Bob said, empathy and curiosity. Those are your 2 secret powers that I don't think most people realize. You ask the right questions. You're really good at questions. You're really good at questions. Would you agree with that, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're phenomenal with questions. And I always tell people, if you want to get good at sales, either listen to Grant Cardone and get really good at closing tactics and get kicked out of homes, or get good at questions, because there's no better salesman in the home than the homeowner is to themselves. Now, they may not be a good salesperson. They will sell themselves. We've all talked ourselves into dumb stuff. Well, if someone brand new is watching and they're just maybe a service plumber trying to get better, or an owner that's trying to get their service plumbers better, and they really want to do it the right way, they're not just trying to do it. What would you say to them? What would be your biggest piece of advice?
I would say be yourself. I mean, don't try to force something. Don't be unnatural about it. Don't do anything that you're not comfortable with, because people see that. I mean, I've tried different things like that and it doesn't work. I just, when I go into a home, and you taught me this, and I struggle with this still sometimes, is shut everything else off. That text message doesn't matter. The phone call doesn't matter. How can you help that person? And that's the biggest thing I take away from it.
So you allow yourself to put on the blinders, go into that home, and just live in that moment. And then your biggest advice was be yourself when you do it.
hmm
Man, that's good stuff, because that's the truth, man. You can learn. If you try to do it my way, it won't work for you. If you try to do it Lucas's way, it won't work for you. What we're talking about is a process we can all follow, but with our style on it, our kind of spin on it, our flavor. I love that. I love that. Lucas, I really appreciate you. You're going to be at that live event that we're doing in
Yeah.
March 21st, 22nd. Remember, $397 a person, $997 for 3 seats. Owner comes for free. I'll be there. Lucas will be there. You'll have full access to both of us to ask this question during breaks and sessions and all that. We are capping it. I think last I heard a couple weeks ago, we are up to 80, 100 people coming. I think we're capping it around $120, $150. So make sure you get those seats. Still quite a lot of time before the event comes, so I'm pretty sure it'll sell out. Every event we've ever done is sold out with tech. So, and we haven't done one for a couple of years, actually, a couple of years. Believe in the process for it to work. Absolutely. Talk all their level, see what they want, build the bridge to make it happen. Absolutely. Hey, let's get Mike a merch pack for him and his team. I think that'd be cool. Where's the event at? Jamie Gorman asked. It's going to be in Indianapolis, Indiana. Actually, technically Arcadia, Indiana, but you fly into Indianapolis and stay in the Westfield area. If you end up buying tickets, we'll get you all the information and whatnot. Also, I noticed on the if you're on your phone, you can swipe to the right. And that's where you can subscribe to the Plumbing Sales Coach. It's $10 a month. We're going to be doing exclusive lives where you can do Q&As with me personally. It won't quite be like this. I'll be doing training, and then on top of that, we're going to be doing events that you'll get to come to. Once a week, we'll do a post with some special training. And as it grows, we'll grow with the perks. The price will never grow, but the benefits will. Interact, connect, engage. ICE, baby. It's yeah, that's how we build relationships. I love it, bro. Zach Brown with Under Cornwall Plumbing, service manager. All right, Lucas, thank you so much for coming on here. Thanks for giving back to the trade. You didn't have to do this tonight. You worked all day. You don't normally work nights, and now here you are working nights. But for those that didn't miss it, $1 million a year for the last 3 years in a row, runs less than 5 calls a week, does not work nights and weekends, and doesn't sell people at the highest possible price. He value stacks. He said they're not the cheapest in town, so their prices are what they are, but he showcases the value. He builds relationships with people. He's empathetic. He's extremely curious. The owner of his company's on here and basically vouched for all that. And on top of that, the guy says, just be yourself. There's no reason to be anyone else. Thanks, Lucas, for coming on. We all love you. Everybody give him a big heart bomb, love bomb, and celebration bomb. And Lucas, I'm sure we'll talk again here shortly.
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
later.
love you, bro. Love you, bro. Thanks for doing this. For those that are still on here, look, we're going to be doing a quick mock through. I want to run you through this. I want to put all this together for you and what a call would look like. We're just going to do a leaky faucet. And I want you to completely understand exactly how this thing looks in the home. Okay, when I go to the call, first thing I'm doing is I'm looking professional. I want to look like I belong in the plumbing industry. I'm an expert. I'm a service plumber. I don't want to look like I'm capable of doing a $300 repair. I want to look like I'm capable of doing a $3,000 repair. I want them to look at me as their service expert advisor, okay? Now, I'm a service plumber, but I still want them to look at me as their advisor. Not a salesman, but an advisor. So I usually go in. Now, first thing I'm going to do is park correctly. I'm going to put myself in a spot that's not inconvenient for anybody in that neighborhood, much less my customer. Number two, I'm going to walk on the pavement, on the paved areas. I'm not going to walk on the grass. This isn't my home. I don't care what I do at my home. I don't care that I got to walk on the grass. In fact, if I got to go to the meter box, when I walk out of the house, just for reference, I walk down the path, around down the thing, and then down the sidewalk back to the meter box. I have a little thing called respect for the person's home I'm in. I don't care if they need me. I don't care if they have no choice but to use me. I want to respect them and I want to give them that experience. When I knock on the door, I step back. I imagine a door would open up and be able to open without me getting hit. If there's a step, I'm going to step down a step. I'm going to reduce the pressure. I don't want to be all up in their face. A lot of times women are opening the door, and I just want to provide a sense of safety. Number three, or number five, I don't know what tip I'm on, but I'm fully uniformed. I'm marked up. I look like I belong there. And I'm not bringing my tool bag in that impresses all the plumbers. I'm bringing my tool bag in that impresses the customer. It's a service tool bag. It's clean. It's new. Tools have hardly ever been used. They're just for diagnosing. I got a 6-in-1 in there. I got Channy's in there. I got a flashlight in there. I got a water pressure gauge if that's my market. Maybe even a water test kit if that's my market. And the flashlight is my number one tool. And then I go into the home. First thing I'm doing is I don't get into the home and then put my shoe covers on. I put them on as I walk in the door. I don't put them on before I get in the home because I don't want to track the dirt in. I want to, as I'm stepping through the doorway, I put them on. If the customer says, don't worry about that, I said, well, if you don't mind, I'll break the habit and then I'll forget to do it in the next house. Do you mind if I put them on? They'll let me put them on. I put them on. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to identify connecting days, just like he said. I'm going to identify something I have in common. I'm going to connect it to a memory or a story, and I'm going to engage it with them. I love your oak tree. I grew up in Northern California. We had a big oak tree in our front yard. I love trees. That's true for me. If I see something in there that's not true for me, I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not going to compliment on something I don't care about. I'm only going to compliment on things I care about. Now I'm going to get into the call. It sounds like, and by the way, when I get this, hey, I'm Chris from Peach Plumbing. Sounds like you have a water heater issue. Sorry to hear that. Do you mind if I come in? I want them to know why I'm here. I want them to know that me and the office communicated, that we're a company that communicates, that we're all on the same page. Something reassuring about knowing that the person knows why they're there. Then they take me to their item. I might talk a little bit on the way there. I might not. It just depends on how it goes. I might ask a question depending on how that front door exchange went. Now I get to the water, I get to the toilet, I get to the whatever. Let's call it a faucet dripping. I start asking them questions like, oh, how long has this been going on? How did you find it? What did you notice first? Did water get on anything? Okay. Have you ever had a problem like this in the kitchen before? Have you ever had a problem somewhere else? Do you know how this thing works? Okay. It works like a miniature dam. I'll walk you through really quick. Let's say I'm looking at a toilet. I'll say, you know how this works. I say, well, it kind of works like the light switch. I'll even say, do you know how this works? I said, honestly, well, do you want to know or do you not care? And they'll say, no, I'm curious. I say, okay, kind of like works like this light switch. There's constant power going to that light bulb. But when I turn the light switch off, it cuts the power. When I turn the light switch on, it lets the power go through, kind of like a dam, right? Well, the fill valve's doing the same thing, that little part right there. It's holding the water back. A little scary thought, but plastic and rubber is basically holding back the floods of America. Make my little joke, we move on. I might even ask him, how old's the toilet? How long, and I'm going to ask him all these different things. Do you like it? Do you wish it was different? Is there anything you don't love about it? Whatever, depending on how those answers go. The next thing I'm going to do, once I get all my questions answered, I've educated a little bit, maybe on the toilet. Next thing I'm going to say is, well, great, I think I can repair this, no problem. I got to shut water off to it. Have you ever used this shut off? 9 times out of 10, they say no. Then I say, okay. I look at it. If it looks safe, I say, well, it looks like a quarter turn, should be fine. I could probably use that. But before I do that, can you tell me where your main is just in case I have a problem here? I don't want to get into a situation where I think the shutoff works and it doesn't. So I'm going to ask where the main is. So now I go to the main. Now we're looking at the main. Now, usually when I get to the main is where I make my first assessment. This is where I'll say, okay, you've got a toilet that's running. You mentioned you don't really like it. I want to give you an option for the thing that you called me out here for only. So I'm going to give you an option to repair the toilet. The second thing I'm thinking about doing is giving you an option to replace the toilet. Now, if I did something like that, I'd probably want to upgrade your shutoff by the toilet only because nothing you need to mess with right now, but it is a gate valve and I'm not going to use it because I don't want to cause an issue. And if I'm already going to pull the toilet and I'm already going to be doing all this stuff, I have no problem swapping out your angle stop. They're usually a couple $100, but I'd probably just do it for you. Let me check with the office on that if you go that route. And then I go, okay, can I check pressure? Because I need to warranty the fill valve. I need to warranty the toilet. I need to warranty whatever I'm working on. I'm still not here trying to look at stuff or finding other issues, or I'm not looking for other things to sell. I'm just trying to do the work that you called me out here for. So I'm working through this thing. And once I get to the water pressure, that's going to lead me to, if they got water pressure issues, now I got to go see if they have an expansion tank. They have an expansion tank or they don't have an expansion tank. I'm standing next to the water here. I might as well see how old it is. And that's going to formulate the next set of questions and conversations and things like that. Now I've got my assessment done in a linear fashion, meaning if you go back to our show of 2-3 weeks ago, we talked about diagnosing what's broke, why is it broke, what's it connected to, and what else works just like it. And so then I've moved into what else just works like it. Okay, look, do you have any other bathrooms in the home? I might have in the bathroom with the fill valve. I'm looking at, I don't know, an old contractor grade toilet that's 30 years old, some brand I've never heard because the contractor, the GC, bought 1,000 of them. Then I'm going to ask the customer, okay, well, let me ask you this. Are the other toilets the same as this? Are they as old as this? They say, yeah. I say, do you mind if I peek at one just to make sure I'm not missing something? They say, sure. I go look at it, whatever. I don't, doesn't matter. Now I'm back at that water heater or wherever I'm at with my assessment, my second assessment. And I say, I'll tell you what. I know you didn't call me out here for anything more than just the toilet. So there's been, and maybe the customers asked me some questions because I put myself in that situation. And that's what they do with Lucas. They start asking him questions like, hey, have you ever heard of tankless? Because they trust him. And I get those same questions. And so now that I got the trust there and they're asking me these questions, I'm making sure they realize, hey, regular water would be fine, or regular just repairing the toilet would be fine. But if you want to do something with it, I'll just show you what the model and the brand is we use along with the price. You can leave it for your record. I can leave it for your records. You can think about it. If you decide to do it now, it's whatever you want. I just want to make sure I get your toilet fixed. I'm constantly just taking them back to that toilet because I'm not trying to sell them a bunch of stuff. And I don't want to get into a situation where I feel like I'm trying to sell them a bunch of stuff because I enjoy running the call when I'm building a relationship. I enjoy running the call when I'm solving problems, but I don't enjoy the call when the customer is feeling pressure from me. I don't like that feeling. I don't want to give someone that feeling, and I don't want to feel the feeling I feel when I'm doing that to someone. So I am very much just sticking straight to the facts, stick to the core. And you'd be blown away at how much, in fact, I can prove it. You'd be blown away by how much stuff gets sold in that moment. And it's not by me, it's by them. In fact, I can prove it. How many of you, David Wayne Simmons says 2 tool bags. That's exactly right. Rescue One, Service Plumbing. What's up? A lot of people are on here right now. What's up, everyone? So you run through that call and you do this stuff and it really shapes the customer's mind. I can prove it. How many of you, in fact, I want you to put in the comments, how many of you have been on a call, you run the call, and maybe they have you repair a toilet or replace a toilet, and you're doing that work now. They bought it, they signed for it. You're doing that work now. You go, hey, when you get done with that, I have something else to show you. How many of you had that happen in a home? How many of you have had that happen in a home? And that's evidence. It's clear, factual evidence that they just didn't trust you all the way yet. They just didn't trust you enough. But if you can establish that on the front end, you become the expert. Here's what I do know. Most homes in America, Canada, and all over the world have a couple $1,000s worth of plumbing that probably needs to get done, but they're waiting for the symptom. They're waiting for the plumbing to raise their hand and say, hey, you need to call a plumber. I don't want them to wait for that because I've seen $250 repairs turn into $10,000 restoration jobs. And that makes me sick because all they do is get back what they already had. Be better. We can be better. We can do better. We can do more on the front end. And it's an uncomfortable situation sometimes, but it's worth it and it needs to be done. You think doctors enjoy telling people they got cancer? You think they like that? No, they don't like that, but they got a responsibility to the patient. You have a responsibility to the homeowner, and you have a responsibility to the home. Just the short time I've been listening to you get down, I've sold more and I've found it easier to move through the house. Always how to talk. Hey, it is always about talking to the customer. Oh, my nose is itching. Hey, let's get this guy a hat, Danelle, sorry. Bro, I feel like that name's familiar. You used to watch the show back in the day? After they show the whole house. Yeah, I ran a call, Miguel. I ran a call with Miguel. He's been on a call with me. You can just ask the industry. And I don't even care about if I'm legit. What I care about is that I'm legit, so you'll listen. Because if you listen, you'll go apply this in the home. And if you apply it in the home, we'll make the customer experiences better. And I'll be really blunt. I don't care about plumbing, and I don't care about the plumbing industry. I care about the end user and how the experience is for them. Now, I'm in plumbing, so that's the industry that I'm using to make the customer experience better for people. And I love that because I think we get to sell something that actually matters, something in a time of need. We're not selling watches. We're not selling first class. We're not selling jewelry that's for really people. None of that crap matters. What matters is when people wake up and their life is just jacked. Their life has been derailed, and we get to come in and redeem that. We get to come in and redeem that. David, when you join the program, you're going to get a lot of stuff, brother. Promise you that. David, I think I already hooked you, or no? All right, I got it. David gets a hat. Justin Michael gets a hat. Look, this is so important. Lucas was on here. He's done $1 million. He said he gave away over $400,000 in plumbing. It's crazy, just from communicating value and helping people understand how they're investing into their home. He did $1 million, made $135K on his check. Works till 4 o'clock, goes in at 7. Doesn't work nights and weekends. And he said, I'm efficient because I'm well stocked in my truck. I'm prepared to fix anything in the home. And when I go to the supply shop, because I did sell a tankless or I did sell a softener, I can go to that supply shop and I can be in and out of there in 10, 15 minutes because I'm prepared, because they know me. Because I buy a lot of stuff and I get VIP treatment. You sell a lot of product, watch your supply shop they'll take you to lunch. They'll be treating you like a king. Promise. And then he says they get my stuff ready for me. I can get there, but he doesn't need a bunch of little fittings. He just needs some appliances, fixtures, and maybe a couple specialty parts. In and out, boom, back to the house. He's spending his time plumbing. He's prepared. He's ready to rock and roll. He has to restock every day. Okay, number 2, he talks in the customer's language. He understands their personality types. He talked about it. He tries to identify who they are, what they're about, how they communicate, and how can he help them understand what he's offering. Said he's willing to even cut a pipe open before he sold anything, just to show the inside. Bob, don't listen to that one. Bob's the owner. $1 million this guy did. If you're just jumping on the show late, go back and watch this episode. I had Lucas Cina, special guest, killer in the game. Zach says, yeah, there's no cap about anything here. I ran calls with Zach. I ran a call with Zach. I don't remember, we sold a whole bunch of stuff, but I was in Indianapolis and I had to leave that job site to go get on a plane to fly to another company and run shop visits. I'm still in the game, folks. I'm still in the game. I run a plumbing shop here in Atlanta. This is real, but it's not a green screen. This is my tech cave. Ba-bow, ba-bow. I did training this morning with my guys right there. Okay. Think what you want, say what you want, believe what you want. Take this stuff and apply it. Change your customer's life. And the last thing he said is he changes buying habits by giving people a better deal. One shut off is $200-300. One shut off takes an hour. I'll be on that call for 2 hours of my life. I'll dispatch at 8. I'll get to the house at 8:30. I'll diagnose till 8:45, 9. I'll sell the job. I'll do the work, be done by 9:30 if everything goes smooth. 9:45, I'm collect the payment. I'm cleaning up. By 10 o'clock, I'm in my truck on my way to the next call. 2 hours for $300. And the customer had to pay for that. And then someone had to cover all that time. But if I do 12 shutoffs, I can do it in 2 hours, maybe 3, drive from 8 to 8:30, 8:30 to 9 diagnosing. Then from 9 9 to 9:30. Oh no, now from 9 to 11 I'm doing the work. From 11 to 11:30 I'm cleaning up whatever. I'm out of the call by 11:30. Even I'll give it till noon. Till noon. And honestly, at the pace I was at before, all I got to charge is $600. I'm at the same pace, right? So I can get 300 for the first 2 hours. And so now 4 hours, $600. But in reality, all those shutoffs, 300, 300, 300, 300, 300. That's $3,600 of value for the customer. And if I can give it to them for $1,800, I just turned now I'm generating $450 an hour instead of $300 an hour. And I booked out 4 of my hours in my day. And my customer's getting a deal of a lifetime. And I break the internet every time I try to explain this. They're always like, well, that's not possible. Wait, something's wrong. If you carry the one, they think I'm playing 3-card money or something. No, I'm just being efficient with my time, and I'm passing it on to the customer. I'm moving to Savannah. Let's collaborate on Peach Plumbing East. You know, it's funny. I just hired someone. They found me on this show. They were here in Atlanta, and then they came down. We interviewed the guy. This guy, he's on here right now, Irvin. Let me brag on him for a second. He was watching just the show. Forget about the training. He wasn't even in the training. He was just watching the reels that we put out. Dude went from 18,000 a month, 16,000 a month to 56,000 a month, or I'm probably a little bit off, but not much. I'm not much off. He went from $900 job average, which with the 74% conversion rate, I think is what he had. Irvin's probably blown away. I even remember his numbers. I don't remember. That drops him down to a $700 opportunity average. Now the guy sends me his stats for the next, after watching me for a month, he sends me his stats. He's 56K, $1,500 a job, 94% conversion rate. That's how you do it. And his customers are better off. Customers are better off. And he says, right way, says, when and how do you offer financing? Great question. I offer my options. If they say yes, I probably financed in the last 15 years of plumbing, I probably financed 2 or 3 deals. And I got a $3,200 ticket average. See, they don't want to spend the money because the value isn't there. But once the value is there, they'll find the money every time. And it's not that I'm going to reach people's homes. Now, how do I offer? Like, what do? I think there's a great way to use it. I think there's a great way to use financing, but I don't like the word financing. I think it's got a negative connotation to it. So if my customer's saying, hey, I ask a lot of questions. So when I offer my options up, I'm like, ooh, that's expensive. I can't afford that. I say, no problem. You mind me asking a simple question? And usually, by the way, when I present my options, 1, 2, and 3, and I say them all and I do my stuff, I don't say which one do you want to go with. I say which one makes the most sense to you. That way they can say yes and no without saying yes and no, and I get the truth. Well, the second one, but it's expensive. Well, you mind me asking what you were expecting? Do you mind me asking where you got that from? Do you mind if you meet? As a tech, why stay at a company that has the best culture but not best pay? Yeah, your money ain't going to get me. I need to like where I work. I want to be respected as a tech. I want to be valued as a tech, and I want to value. I mean, shoot, 2 of our techs today. We're in the middle. These guys were killers. They did $500,000 last year, and so we bought them spa days. They're going on spa things like $500 each. They're going to go get hot stones and stress relaxation, whatever. I got another guy, TJ, who's killer in the game. Had 3 weeks in a row. I think I don't even know what his numbers are. It's probably at 50K for 3 weeks. I might be a little bit over, but 40K. He loves these shoes, so we're buying him a brand new pair in his own. If he's watching right here, he just found that out. The other guys knew about their gift. He didn't know about his. You got to take care of your team, and they will take care of you because you're all a team. And there's people out there saying, you're the owner. Be the owner. You know how you can be the owner and be the best owner? Just be the best example. You don't need to wear a suit jacket. You don't need to have a fancy title. You just need to be the best example. That's it. That's what leaders do. You know, dude, I'm so close to just calling the other coaches out because they're destroying our industry. Charge more. Just a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of crap. Congratulations, Michael. Just did 1.3 this past year, 81% total conversion or closure. Personal beats me around. Hey, we'll end it with this. I want y'all to change your thinking here on this. I love that, Michael. Good for you. Great job. Way to serve the community. Great job. Everyone starts throwing their stats up. They're getting job offers everywhere. Okay, look. 81%. Yeah, I mean, we say 80 or higher. We need 80, gotta have 80. 85 is what we want. Love to see 90. Love to see 90. But to that point, let's end with this. Here, I want you to change one thing, you can change your mind. Let's stop calling close rates. Let's stop calling it conversion rates. Let's stop calling it that. Let's start calling it solve rate, because you're being sent to a problem and did you solve it? It's that simple for me. And sometimes I like to solve bigger problems than what the customer knows about. We're not selling nothing. We ain't closing anyone, but we're solving problems. And people that solve problems make big money. The bigger problems you solve, the more money you make. And you picked a great industry. Plumbing has the most valuable problem outside of restoration, because they're just dealing with the stuff we didn't deal with. You know what I'm saying? Guys, I love you. Remember, we got an event coming up March 21st and 22nd. $397 a person. Meet me in person. Meet Lucas in person. Come become a pro. The winners are going to be there. You want to be a winner? You're going to be there. You're going to find a way. It's in Indianapolis, Indiana. We're providing lunch all day Saturday, half day Sunday, so you can get back to your town by the end of Sunday night. If you can't make it, you can't afford it, I get it. We have a new offer now, $10 a month, 10. It's actually $9.99. Facebook. Swipe right on your little comments. I think you can get to it, or go find the subscription button. But if you subscribe to our page, subscription, it's not subscribing to the show. It's something totally different. This is a $10 subscription on Facebook. We're going to do special posts just for you. They'll be locked. No one else will be able to see them. There'll be more in-depth training. And we're going to do uniquely once a month. We're going to do a live on Facebook for just you, where you can Q&A with me every single month. $10 a month to make $130K a year. I can't make this any easier on you. If you don't do that, just throw your computer out the window, smash your phone right now, and never get back on the internet, because it's never going to be a better deal than this. I love you guys. Remember, serve your community in everything, not just plumbing. Have a great night, everyone. If you want more tips about marketing, sales, and business, type subscribe in the comments and get alerts about future shows. Also, check out our podcast on Spotify, Apple, and other major platforms. Thanks again for watching The Fresh Approach.
Fresh.